Well, listen, it is 7 o'clock. We're going to get started. We're really glad that you guys are on here. Everyone is on here. We know that it's kind of a crazy time, and we're going to try to share the knowledge that we have to help you be able to worship and stay connected and continue to be community. So we're going to start out with prayer, but before we do that, we'll ask that everyone mute real quick. So if you don't know how to do that, it's bottom left-hand corner. And so that way we don't get feedback, but we do want you to participate. We do want you to talk. So if you have questions, Justin and I interrupt us, just unmute it and interrupt us, and that's not an issue at all. Okay. But we're just having everyone mute so we don't get feedback since we have so many people on. So let's start out with prayer real quick. God, we thank you. We thank you that we can come together and we can learn something new to be able to serve you, to be able to serve your people, to be able to give them something comfortable and something that really is worthwhile during this time of anxiety. We pray, God, that you will bless our worship, you will bless our fellowship, you will bless all that we do. In Jesus' name, amen. So just quick introductions. I'm Jason Rice. I'm the pastor at Trinity United Methodist and Mentone United Trinity United Methodist in Rochester and Mentone United Methodist Church. Justin can introduce himself real quick.
Hi, yeah, I'm Justin Kaysen. I'm the youth and adult pastor at Monticello United Methodist Church.
So what our goal is tonight is for you to understand how easy it is to use Facebook Live. How easy it is to be able to reach your people, to give them something that they can be comfortable with, and also make it comfortable for you. We're going to walk through multiple options, starting out with the very basic, using a cell phone, and then all the way up to doing a laptop and different things like that. So I've got a PowerPoint here we're going to kind of bring up and down and different things like that. Oh, I did the wrong thing. So can everyone see the PowerPoint? Good. So first of all, if you're using a cell phone, there's a couple things that are important to know. One is that you need to decide how you want them to be able to view you. If you want it to be a horizontal widescreen, then you need to turn your phone horizontally. If you want it to be a vertical screen, straight up and down, that's fine, but you may have, depending on your phone, you may have the black edges, and some people don't like that. So what Justin and I are suggesting is that after you decide which way you want to be live, that you lock your rotation on your phone. So if you see the little circles I've drawn there, this is an iPhone. On an Android, it's pretty much the same thing. You just decide which way you want the phone to be, and then you lock it into place. So you just touch that button and it locks. The other thing is, how are you going to be connecting to the internet? You have to have an internet connection to be able to go live. So either you can use your cellular connection, or you can use your Wi-Fi connection, right? But I would suggest you don't leave both of them on, because what will happen is that you will bounce back and forward between the two, which can cause buffering and can cause issues for your people. So if you're going to be using Wi-Fi and your Wi-Fi is fast enough at your church or at your house, then turn your cellular connection off, which is that green button up there.
Down here, the speaker. Click on the speaker to the right.
Linda, if you can mute for us, the way you do that is just, there you go. And then, so pick which way you're going to use it, Wi-Fi or cellular, and then just stick with one of those. Justin, is there anything else about that?
So yeah, what you want to make sure is that you do this prior to even getting into Facebook. If you wait until after you're already into Facebook, Facebook may not change directions on your phone or iPad. So like the first first screen, get it done, and make sure it's ready to go there.
Yeah, that's true. Once you're in, you're in. It won't let you change directions. So if you've never downloaded the Facebook app, you just go to the App Store, download it. If you're using a cell phone, you need to be using the app. If you try to use it from your browser, it's just not going to work very well. And then, so the left picture is just, going and getting the Facebook app and downloading it. Then you need to choose where you're going to be broadcasting from. If your church has a Facebook page and you are one of the administrators, you have to be an administrator to do this. By the way, that picture on the left of the knee surgery, that's one of our pastors. That's Bob Denny. He was my youth director years ago. I don't know where he's serving at now, but he blew his knee out and had surgery. It's kind of gross. I apologize. I was just trying to get the other thing at the bottom though. Those three little buttons down there are what you need to look at to decide which page you're going to broadcast from. If you are going to broadcast from your Facebook page, then you don't need to do anything with that. But if you're managing like your church Facebook page, then you have to pick which one you're going to broadcast from. So when you hit those three little buttons, on an iPhone, it'll look like the left picture. Those are all the pages that I manage. And so I have to pick which one of those I'm going to be broadcasting live from. Okay, so any questions so far? Once you pick which page you're going to be broadcasting from, if your page is a non-for-profit group, if it's been set up that way, then you're going to have a publish button. If your page is a personal page, you're going to have a button that says go live. And I've got another picture of that later on. But so if it's set up as non-for-profit, you will click on the publish button, and that will get you to the area where you're going to start to live stream at. So over here on the other, that's my personal page. So if I was doing it from it, then it would just be that live button, right? So then once you decide which one you're doing and you either click publish or you click go live, you're going to get the same thing, which is in the middle or to the right. It's either going to say live video or start live video. And so once you get there, all you have to do is click on start that live video and it'll give you a 3-second countdown. It'll say 3, 2, 1, and then you're live, right?
Also, there's a last chance to put that live video to change your orientation on the phone. So if it's up and down, you gotta move it to make sure it's horizontal if that's what you're going for. That was what I would suggest. If you're watching on cell phones and on computers, and just the horizontal is a lot better than the vertical in that area.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe I'm the only one. I'm not having any trouble hearing Jason, but Justin, I'm not hearing you very well.
Okay, I'll repeat what he said. So before you click live, that is your absolute last time to change the orientation of your phone. So either having it horizontal or having it vertical. The other thing is before you click live, it's your last opportunity to decide which camera you're going to be using, whether you're going to be using your front camera or your back camera. And it will give you that choice before you do that, right? So that's going to be and that's the last opportunity, because once you start, it locks you in to whatever you've already chosen. Okay? Any other questions? So when you're broadcasting from a cell phone, there are a couple things to think about, right? One of those we've already talked about is your internet access. You don't have to have great internet access, but it has to be okay. You can do it from a cell phone if you have 3G or 4G service. If you have 2 or 3 bars, you should be okay. You're not embedding a lot of stuff into your video, so it's not really that taxing. If you are on a dial-up, like through Frontier, it will not work. You've got to have your cell phone is better than Frontier. So, but if you're able to do this Zoom call and we're not glitching on you real bad, then your internet's good enough. because you're basically doing the same thing by being on this Zoom call. You're uploading a image to the internet, and so you're doing about the same thing. The other thing to think about is stabilization, right? Your phone or your iPad needs to be stable. And so Justin is actually live right now. So I'm going to switch to our screen share a little bit different. And that way you can see how he looks in his sanctuary live.
So Jason's going to pull up the actual live video, right, Jason?
Yes, sir. Yeah, so you should be able to see Justin live right now.
So you'll see me in a second. I'm going to turn around. It's a little delayed. That's something you have to think about too. Your live stream will be delayed by a couple seconds just because of space. So this is me in the sanctuary. That's you all on the call. You'll see yourselves in a little bit. So I want you guys to see our setup a little bit. This is my iPhone XR. This is one of the ways you can do this with a really simple tripod. That tripod is $20 on Amazon. Has a clip for cell phone. And yeah, so I'm going to put this down for a second and talk to you guys via the live stream. You'll hear my voice, but I guess you can look at me here. The one thing you have to look about is you're spacing away from the camera. The best spot, if you'll see here in a second, it'll go back to where I'm at now. I'm about 5.5 feet away from the camera for the live stream. This camera is an iPhone XR. It's not the newest, but it's pretty new. Has a great microphone. It can pick me up pretty well from this distance. I'm not having to use a microphone separate, but you can, and that's an awesome option. Yeah, gimbal. Yeah, that's a great option too. For cheapest right here, and Jason has a list here in a second of some things you can buy as well. But for this live stream, I can preach from right here pretty easily. We have good lighting. That's super important. You don't want to go into the pastor's office because usually those are dark dungeons that are not going to be a good place for you to live stream. You want to do that in your sanctuary or in a location where you have really good lighting so it can see you, right? You don't want to get a lot of shadows on your face. In our sanctuary, we have a lot of light, so it's really easy for me to do that in the live stream there. From this location, you know, I have a sideways live stream. I can have somebody there if I want to, but I don't plan on moving. So I have marked out 2 spots on the ground. This is as far as I can walk. You don't want to be super far back because you want them to be able to see you, especially with you being live for the first time. They shouldn't have to think, oh man, this is my shot of him or her when I'm in my pew on Sunday. That's not going to be helpful. They want a good, clear shot of you because you want to be personal and intimate with them in the conversation. This is not not a normal sermon. This should be an intimate conversation with you via digital. So yeah, Jason, anything else I need to cover here? Before we go
No, I don't think so. I was looking, there was a couple chats and I was just going to make sure that, okay, yeah, that there were no questions. So let me, Justin is absolutely right. Like looking at your lighting and looking at those type of things are really important, especially if a cell phone. I'm going to show you this. Let me get here. Actually, let me.
Are you done with my live stream, Jason? I can turn it off.
No, actually keep it on because I want to show them in a little bit how to invite someone onto a live stream. Because that's the other thing that how did I just lose you all?
It happens.
All right, Justin.
Yep.
Go ahead and keep talking because I got to find you all.
So when you're talking about your space, you don't want to have your back directly against the wall because it also hurts with sound. You want to have some space behind you, some lighting behind you as well. Just because your face is lit, you want your back lit as well. Anybody who speaks needs to come to the center of the camera. So they can come side to side, but they need to be as center as possible to make it easier for everyone. If you have music, you can put them farther back. But having live music is really hard because the microphone is not going to pick up what you think it is when it comes to that. You know, that one soprano who really wants to sing might not be the best person to sing this Sunday on your Facebook Live. You want to kind of keep that mellow, keep your highs and low balances as much as possible. That way your sound's not spiking. Facebook actually has a really cool feature with this live where if you do spike, it'll cut it out by itself. There's an audio suppressor in the Facebook Live itself, so you don't have to do a whole lot of mixing. But because of that, it also will lose some things if you're trying to do some crazy arrangements. So this Sunday, just sing over 1,000 tongues to sing, a cappella, make it work as good Methodists.
Can you guys all see my screen now?
Sure.
Okay, so these are some of the things that you can just get really inexpensively for your cell phone or your iPad to be able to stabilize and do those type of things. So the top one is a tripod that will fit up to a 12.9-inch iPad. It's off Amazon. If you were to order it today, you would have it, you know, by Saturday, pretty easy. It's $34. Again, if you have a case on it and you can set it on some hymnals, right, so it doesn't fall over, perfect. But this gives you an option.
I want to talk about the height of the camera. Do not lord over your camera. You do not want to be having the camera looking up at. Definitely, all of us are very conscious in this call how you look on the camera beneath you on the cell phone, right? It's not a good spot. You want to have the camera for your Facebook Live at least at eye level, preferably a little higher. And if you're going to use any type of confidence monitor or any type of like whiteboard for your sermons to try to read off, try to put it directly behind your camera. That way you're not looking away from the camera. You want direct eye contact as much as you can through digital. Go ahead, Jason, my bad.
Yeah, you're good. Don't lay your phone on the lectern, because then everyone will be able to see up your nose, and nobody wants that. So this tripod for the iPad is $34. Like my wife, her iPad though, it's got a little kickstand on the back of it. So, you know, stack up 10 hymnals, set it on top of it. Just get it to a good height if you want to do that. This other one is a tripod selfie stick. It's same thing. It's like 5 feet tall, so it'll get up there good for you. It's $21. That does a phone. I have this on my bicycle. And this also, we use this on our Wednesday night service. This works perfect. It is a bicycle phone mount, and it's got a connector on the back that'll go onto handlebars. So you can actually connect this really easy on a mic stand, and then you can raise it up high enough. They're as low as $9.99. This is just the one that I have, so that's why I pulled it up there. So stabilization is important. You know, you don't want someone out there holding your iPhone or your tablet, because you're going to be shaking and people are going to get nauseated, and you don't want that. The other thing to think about is your audio input. Like Justin said, on his iPhone XR, the speaker is great. You know, you don't have to worry about it, and you don't have to, you know, use an external microphone. You can even turn on your sound system in the sanctuary if you're in the sanctuary, and your iPhone is going to pick that up, or your tablet's going to pick that up. But if you decide you want a microphone, we've got two options on here, and there's tons of them, guys, but these are two, right? One is a lapel mic. They're $40. They're $41. They plug right into the bottom of your iPhone or your Android, either one, and they're wireless. And these work really well. You know, these mics do well. They have about a 40-foot range. They're decent. I think, though, for the money, that set of Bluetooth earbuds that are up there, I have those. I've had those for 5 years. I actually was on the way back from RIM one time and didn't realize that they had gotten shut in my truck door, and they drug all the way from Indianapolis home, and they still work. I still have them. And they have a microphone on them. So you put those on. They have a great microphone on them. You connect them via Bluetooth to your cell phone. If you don't know how to do it, ask one of your grandkids, you know what I mean? But it's super easy. Connect it to your cell phone Bluetooth, and it's got a microphone on it. And so it will work just as well, and you won't get the echoing and stuff like that you might get. And those are $19.99, and you know, you can use them all the time. So anything else, Justin, you want to add about microphones, anything like that?
Yeah, so anybody, if you're going to have more than one person talking at a time, you would try to get some type of microphone for each person. And that could be pretty simple. You can also, if you have a decent sound system, you can run an audio output to your computer or to your phone, make it work a lot better that way. Also, you should not be playing videos through your phone for service. So let's say you're like, oh, we really want to do Good Grace by Hillsong this week at our live stream. We're just going to play, like, we'll hold the laptop up to the phone and let that work. That is not going to work. It's going to be really, really close. It's going to be really, really bad if you do that. So you want to try to do as little video as possible while doing it live. I know that sounds kind of redundant, the idea that, you want to do less video if you're live, but audio from one computer to another computer always sounds horrible. It just does not work. So that's going to be your best bet. And yeah, they also make, if you have an iPhone, and even with Androids too, direct line microphones. So you can buy a lapel, like Jason was saying, that just plugs directly into your lightning port if you have a laptop, or if you have a cell phone, and just clip it to yourself, and that's it. That's your microphone. Super easy. I couldn't make it any easier in that regard. So that's all I have for sound and lighting. You want to talk about engagement yet?
Let's talk about laptops and desktops, and then we'll talk about staging. So you can go live from a laptop or a desktop, right? And honestly, if you have a router in your sanctuary, and if you have the capability to run a hardwire Cat5 cable to your laptop or desktop, and it has a webcam, or you have a webcam, it will give you a better product than a phone will, right? It just will, because a hardwire connection is going to be much better than a wireless connection, but you don't have to have it. But if you do, I just want to show you how to go live from there. So again, this is Mentone's Facebook page. And so you see what the page looks like. There's a button that says live. Kind of see me scrolling over it there. That button that says live, you click on that. It's going to take you to this beautiful guy's face. Actually, I just did a screenshot when I was pulling it up. But if you see over here, there are all kinds of things it's going to ask you to verify on your computer. It doesn't ask you this as much on a mobile device, but it's going to ask you things like who's allowed to see it, what microphone are you going to use, what camera are you going to use, and those type of things. So if you have a webcam hooked up, if you have an external microphone hooked up, we're going to talk about that in a second, it's going to allow you to select those. This drop down allows you to change your camera from your front camera of your laptop to your rear camera of your laptop and those type of things. Or if you have a webcam, it'll show up there as well. I switched it to my rear cam, and you see that my wife is freezing me and I have my wool socks on. So, you have typically your rear facing camera on a laptop is better quality than your front facing camera. And then the other thing is you want to set your video as public. If you do not set it as public, only your friends can view it. So if you don't set it as public, people can't share it, they can't do those type of things. So you want to set your live stream as public, and then you want to type in what it is, those type of things. So there are all kinds of options for connecting to a laptop or a desktop. That top left-hand corner is just a basic Logitech web camera. It's actually the same one that I have. I'm not using it. I'm using the one off of my laptop. But when I teach Zoom, when I teach lay servant ministry classes online with Zoom, I use this. It just plugs in via USB. The thing at the bottom we'll talk about last. The screenshot over at the right is all types of external microphones you can buy. And you can see, like, Walmart has one as cheap as $4.99. Like, I don't know if it works at all, but you can just see there's tons of them out there. You can go up to hundreds of dollars, but if you're using a laptop, your microphone is not going to be as good as it is on your cell phone. So if you're using a laptop, you probably want to have some sort of microphone. That's where this bottom thing comes in. This bottom thing is called a Behringer. Let me get the exact, so I'll give you the exact thing. This bottom thing is called a Behringer Euphoria UM2 USB interface, and I can email that to anyone. But it's $44. And what it does is it allows you to plug one of your normal microphones from your sanctuary that has an XLR plug-in, which the XLR are the little 3 things that, you know, plug into the bottom of your microphone and then plug into your PA. It allows you to plug one of those into that, and then a USB cable from that into your laptop. And it will give you, you can use that handheld microphone, or you can use your wireless lapel microphone that you use every Sunday morning. And it will give you a really, really good sound quality. So if you're thinking, well, I really want to use my laptop, I have this nice Logitech or this nice webcam, you need to think about an external microphone, because microphones and laptops are junk. They just don't pick up very well. They're not omnidirectional. They don't have a lot of stuff. Justin's microphone in his cell phone is 5 times better than most microphones in laptops. So the other thing that people kind of want to know about is if you record your services now, let's say you have a camcorder and you want to use that camcorder, it's pretty difficult to do that. If that's something you want, call me directly and I'll walk you through how to do it. But there's cost involved in it. You have to make sure it has an active HDMI output, and then you have to buy something called a UTAP, which is $299. And it will turn any camcorder with an active HDMI output into a really, really nice webcam that you can zoom and do all that junk with, but it takes a lot more setup. So if that's something you want to do, call me directly or log in Tuesday night when Justin does the OBS kind of masterclass. So, all right, that's the nuts and bolts stuff. Is there any questions about that before we start to talk about creativity stuff? I know we're throwing a lot of information out to you, so please, please, please ask if you have questions.
Awesome. One thing real quick that we should talk about now is CCLI.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to be playing music or streaming music, any of that kind of thing, you need to have a CCLI license. Now, most of you probably don't need that right now because you might probably not streaming or not on the radio, stuff like that. But you need to look into that. If you have questions about that, you can reach out to myself, or I'm sure Jason can help you there. And John and Lori, I'm not sure if there's a certain group the conference uses for CCLI, like a certain, do you have a code or anything? I don't know. But we can get you that taken care of. Now, I will tell you right now that CCLI has been really, really lenient during this current season, just because they know churches are doing their best. But if you continue to stream Facebook Live, eventually that will shut your stream down if you're not inputting the CCLI number there.
Hey, Justin, if I can jump in real quick.
Dude.
I think a lot of one of the things that we need to think about too is if you do have a live streaming license for CCLI, read it like 7 times, because there's a lot of fine print. I've been through it with a fine tooth comb, and there's a lot of stuff going on. And we've had the license for a year and a half, but we just started getting into live streaming when this all happened. And I'm going to try to get in on the OBS class, because we just got I just picked up a nice computer so we can do dedicated streaming and all that stuff with like OBS and the capture card and whatnot. But there's a lot of little subtle stuff that I think after this whole thing is over, CCLI is going to start cracking down on. So,
and somebody just says in the chat, it's not just a normal CCLI license. You need a CCLI streaming license.
Correct. Yeah.
It's a different ball game. So if you already have it, you posted that. But yes, you have to have a streaming license. It's so important. Yeah. So for that OBS class, we're going to talk about, how you do scenes, how you do capture card. We have a stream deck at our church that we use to go through a lot of that stuff.
So do you need the license if you're doing public domain music?
No.
Like the hymns?
No.
Okay.
No.
You will need the license if you're saving your live streams and keeping them for viewing later. But that is one thing.
Right.
So, okay, hold on, Aaron, because Facebook is different than YouTube on that, right? So we are taking into consideration that everyone is going to be streaming from Facebook. Facebook is not considered per CCLI or per one license. One license is the other big one. They're not considered as a hosting entity. So what happens is after you live stream and you post to your wall or to your timeline, it falls off. People can go find it later, but it's not considered archived like it is on YouTube. YouTube is considered archived, and so you do have to have a streaming license if you're doing it on YouTube and using public domain stuff. But if you're on Facebook and using public domain stuff, you do not have to have a streaming license. The other thing is that Facebook uses an algorithm. And so basically what they do is every time you upload a video, it runs through an algorithm, and you're gonna get hit with an infringement at some point in time. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have every license in the world, because Facebook doesn't have customer service. They have a bunch of tech guys who have set this algorithm up. And so what will happen is it'll come up and say, hey, a portion of your video was claimed, and you just go in and reply, we have a CCLI license and a streaming license, and here's our number. And they send that to Hillsong or whoever, it is. And we have been streaming for 3 years, and we have never once had anyone reach out to us and say, hey, this is a copyright infringement. They're usually like, okay, fine. I mean, and it really is but we also don't use movie clips. Stay away from movie clips because you'll get yourself in trouble. Stay away from the skit guys. Even if you buy them, you have to pay everyone who's a part of that. So it's not just the skit guys, it's their producers, it's the people that have the music, it's the writers, right? You can get into one skit guys clip, if you stream it, can end up costing you $200 or $300 if you're going to put it on Facebook. So stay away from those type of things. But if you're doing Amazing Grace, if you're doing stuff that is open domain, public domain, you're fine. The other thing is if you're doing, especially for your CCLI streaming license, let's say you're doing Open the Eyes of My Heart, Lord. If it's someone from your congregation playing the piano and you record that, and then someone from your congregation singing and you record that, your CCLI streaming license covers that. It does not cover like if you go and download Hillsongs and you play that in the background.
Right. Yeah, so Adrian asked a question in the chat. I'm not sure if everybody saw that. She asked about a playlist for people. So you should not be playing canned music on your Facebook live stream unless you have that streaming license. And even then, it's really, if they decide that day to enforce the rules, you might, and even if you're in the right, they're just going to stop you anyway. But what you can do is make a Spotify playlist, which Spotify is it's a music playlist area. You can go and look at all these songs. You can make a Spotify playlist for your church, send that out on your Facebook page if you have one, which you should, or in your own page and say, hey, before worship, to get yourself, kind of like this is our prelude Spotify list. If you want to prepare your heart and mind for worship, this is the list you should listen to. And then when we start, we'll start. That way people can do that on their own and you don't have to worry about that in your own area.
I think that's a good segue into what we're going to talk about next, which is being creative, right? Be creative in this. So think about this for a second. If you have a piano player who's at home, have them set up their cell phone and record them playing Amazing Grace and singing it. And then, and maybe have them record the Old Rugged Cross and singing it, whatever songs you want, and post those to your Facebook 10 minutes before your service starts and say, okay, this is our prelude music. And then once that's, if you're planning on starting at 10 o'clock, post that at 10 o'clock and say, this is our prelude music. The sermon's going to start at 10:10, or however you want to do that. There's another thing that I'm going to show you here that you can do. And again, this is all being creative. Play with it. You're not going to get in trouble these first couple weeks. You're really not, because one license is already put out. They're not doing anything. Facebook has put out. They're not really being tight on any copyright stuff, and so is CCLI. But one of the other things that you can do when you're on Facebook Live is you can bring someone on to screen with you. Right, and they have to have a pretty good internet access like you do. But so Justin is still live, okay? And so when someone logs in, it's going to show you that they're watching. And so I'm typing down here, hi Justin. That's the other thing. When people come in, watch for them. Be like, hey Joe, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're at worship. Make it that environment. Be creative with it. So what Justin can do now is he can hover over my name, and then he can invite me to be on screen with him. Now he can't do that right now because I am streaming already on something else to you guys on Zoom. But all he would have to do is just hover over my name like this, and it's going to say invite this person on screen. He would do that. I would say yes, and then we would both be up there. So you could do that with your piano player. You could do that with someone at home. If you've got any kids in your church, talk to a parent and be like, hey, get your kids together. I'm going to invite you on screen, and our opening hymn is going to be Jesus Loves the Little Children. Sing it a cappella. Build community, right? That's what people are missing during this. They're isolated and they're missing community. So get as many people involved as you can with this. Be creative with it. And again, if you want to go above and beyond, I mean, we're using OBS. I've been editing videos for the last 7 hours probably, getting everything ready for Sunday worship. But that's because we've been doing it for a while. Okay, Betty, what if you are playing a video that some other person has posted? Let's say you're playing a song like Go Light Your Candle, but it's posted by Jane Doe. So if it's been posted into YouTube, then it is probably copywritten. So unless you reach out to them and get permission, you can't do it. So there's a country music artist. His name is Walker Hayes. He's got a song called Craig, which is about a guy who gave him a minivan when he was down on his luck. So I reached out to him and wanted to use that for a sermon series, and he gave me permission. And so then we were able to post it. Now, even though he gave me permission, Facebook saw it and they flagged it. So I put in it, hey, I reached out to Walker Hayes. I got permission. Here's a copy of the email. And they sent it to Walker Hayes, and he didn't claim it. So they were fine with it, right? So, you just have to be careful with that and be able to reach out.
Just to go off that too, I saw your follow-up question there. With your license, that's fine. For live streaming, right now, it's probably not going to cut off your live stream, but what it may do, and this has happened to many people I know before, is when it posts to Facebook, it'll block out all sound on any point that a copyrighted song is, even with your license. It just blocks it out. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we had a lady who was phenomenal from Miami, Florida, so I moved up here from. She's phenomenal singing, and CCLI'd it. They blocked out that music because she sounded too much like the artist she was singing as. Mm-hmm. So she was playing the piano, sounded too much like it. We had all the streaming, but it was just too close. So for your stream, is it fine? I mean, probably, yeah. I'm not going to lie to you, especially for the next couple of weeks. You're probably going to be okay, but just understand when it happens, and you just got to send in something and do your best to get around that. There's actually not a spot that I'm aware of to really put your CCLI in on Facebook Live. Is that, Jason?
It's only when you reply. So right. like I said, we've been streaming for almost 3 years. So I can't tell you how many times we've had something flagged. And again, we've gotten, as long as you're not archiving it and you have the streaming license and it's public domain, you can use it. So like we've had Amazing Grace flagged and different things like that. So you just go in and you just reply, we have a CCL license, streaming license, here's the number. And typically within an hour, it's just released. They send it off or they see, we've also, you can purchase through Hillsong, you can purchase so much of their content and be able to use it. And again, as long as it's not archived, you're okay. And so we've had things through Hillsong where our people are singing it and it's been flagged, and then we put that information in and they just release it. And we've never had a strike against us. So like it's 3 strikes and you're out. We've probably had 100 live streams that have had a flag on them, but we've never got a strike against us because of it.
So real quick, just something I just saw. So if you have a Facebook page, if you go into your, so you have a Facebook page and you have a web page. Let's say you want to get your website to have a way to connect to your live streaming. If you go on Facebook, go to your page, and you should be on the left-hand side underneath your name. It should say @ and then whatever your code is. So for us, it's @ Monticello UM Church. So technically that web page has a web address, which is facebook.com/Monticello UM Church. So if you add that link onto your website as a hyperlink, someone can click on that and be able to view your Facebook Live without having a Facebook. I know that's one of the big things is people are like, oh no, what do I do? They can do that without having a Facebook. They can view your Facebook Live right there. So if you find out what your hyperlink is for your Facebook page, which like I said, it's wherever it's at and then whatever that is, you can add that to your website. People can click on it right there. You know, if Mary Jo doesn't have access to Facebook, she can go on your website, click on it, and still be able to view your live stream.
Lori, can you come on camera for a second and unmute?
Yes.
Would you talk about communion real quick?
In front of all these people. So communion, how do you have communion via live stream? First of all, there are no worship police, and there is no governmental authority or episcopal authority that's going to monitor your live stream to see what you're doing or how you're doing it. So I'm saying all this, the bishop has a couple of people working with UMC discipleship to issue official instructions, but again, there are no worship police. So what are the elements of communion that are required? First of all, it's important. The elder's job with communion, it's not because we're trying to be exclusive, but we are charged with the responsibility of making sure that the story is told rightly and communion is explained rightly. If you've studied church history at all, you know that there's lots of strange beliefs that people could have about communion. And so it's our job to make sure it's transmitted well. I've heard of, so the story needs to be told. You have the liturgy and the hymnal or the book of worship that you can use. If you're licensed or ordained, if you're not, you already have a connection with an elder who can help you with that. You are able to, the point is that there needs to be community in some way. It doesn't mean that you have to be physically present. At this point, we're saying that. And so what you may be able to do is make sure people have in their individual homes some element of bread and juice or wine or whatever they have, and you can all kind of take it together as you do that. And you have the elements there when you're on screen so that they can see and participate in communion. I think the important thing is that we recognize communion is communion with God and communion with other people. And that, there's a scripture involved. On the night in which he gave himself up for us, our Lord took bread. That's from the scriptures that we have that story told. Those are the important parts. Right now, we're saying, and if you have more questions, one of my colleagues who shall remain nameless, but is not your superintendent or any of you, said, well, as long as you have something to eat and something to drink, so that the physical part of it, the idea that God takes what's physical and makes it spiritual, and what's spiritual is physical, that unification, that unitedness of Jesus as fully human and fully divine is represented in some way, that it's okay. Again, no police going to come and tell you whether you did it right or wrong, but we all trust you all to make the right decisions and to take it seriously. Does that answer your question?
That was phenomenal. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the scriptures I think that you can use for a talking and teaching point on this is Jesus healing the centurion servant. Jesus wasn't there when the servant was healed. they were not together, but he was in community with the centurion. And so they didn't have to be right. I mean, the people don't have to be right in the sanctuary for God's grace to be available to them and for them to receive the amazing love of Jesus Christ. And I think, this is personally my opinion, that if we go the next 6 or 8 weeks without the elements of the Lord's Supper, we will be doing a disservice to our people. And so I really believe that will help build community.
Some churches are actually, so the little portable communion cups, you can get them from Christian Books. Some are dropping those off during the week for their people and then inviting them during the service to take together. Some are actually dropping off loaves of bread for people and say, you can use this to eat, but save a little bit for Sunday when we do it together. Others are just saying, go find some bread, go find something to drink. I think there's lots of ways to do it. I was talking with a couple pastors who have quite a few people who are not internet savvy and for whom this whole live stream thing would just be impossible at this point. And they have identified host homes, and the host knows how to use the internet and how to receive the live stream. And then they are making sure that they don't have large gatherings, but 2 or 3 gathered together in the home of the host who knows how to run the internet. So there's a moment of connection. Now, right now that's safe. If everybody's healthy, that may not be possible going forward. There may be more restrictions, but right now that's still a safe option. And I think it's an opportunity to ask our neighbors, particularly our young people who are not in school. They don't have to be members of your church. Almost all of them know how to do this stuff. And so what a great opportunity to invite a neighbor kid or some to come and help you figure it out, because the digital is most of their lives. So I think that's an incredible opportunity. And I don't know, I live in town, but I know the kids are out of school and they can't go anywhere because Florida's closed. And so they're running around all over the place, running around in the neighborhoods. And I flag one down. Heck, why not? So
real quick,
what I have to say.
the houses, you can have people in your church host a watch party of your live stream, which goes beyond the walls, the digital walls of your church, right? So your live stream only affects those who currently like your Facebook page. But if you go to some lady that are savvy and say, hey, can you host a watch party? That's going to get everybody on their Facebook also the ability to watch your live stream. And I was going to say this wasn't on the script, but pastors always deal with the whole you only work on Sundays thing. And if you are only doing your live stream on Sunday, that's the only digital content you're putting out, then you're perpetrating that misconception. So you need to be trying to do other things digitally. My wife is our children's minister. She recorded a Sunday school message. We're posting it in a Facebook group just for our families, our Mom Sees Kids pace. That way, group sent out a list of resources you can use for free. The same thing happened for youth ministry. Download Youth Ministry has a whole thing of resources you can get for free right now to stream. We're doing youth group on Sunday via Zoom, just like this. And we're going to play games. We're going to have Bible study. We're going to have small groups that we're going to bring out in the rooms. It's all digital. So don't just think that, okay, if I can just get the Sunday service ready. That is downloadyouthministry.com. That's the downloadyouthministry.com. No problem. But yeah, just post as much as you possibly can. Not, don't just post whatever, you drinking coffee. That's not helpful. But show them that ministry is still happening.
Drinking coffee is always helpful.
I don't drink coffee, so I'm not there.
Always. Hey, Jeff Smith, will you unmute for a second?
Uh-oh. Watch out, Jeff. Me either, Esther. I can unmute you, Jeff. I got you. I'm trying. Won't let me. There you go.
One more time. There we
Okay.
go. Jeff, will you talk about what you're doing with your shepherding group with Zoom so that
Yes.
people know that as well?
Yeah, we already had a shepherding group in place, but it was a little different. It was designed to go door to door, that kind of thing. So we've come up with a new shepherding team that we're still working out the kinks on, but we've got about four shepherds with 6 contact units per, and their job is to talk to the people that they're responsible for at least once a week, and they're going to ask 3 or 4 basic questions. 1, how are things for you spiritually? 2, what physical needs, if any, you might have? How can the church be praying for you? And what does your pastor need to know, if anything? Just questions like that. And the whole purpose is just so that they feel connected, that they feel like their church hasn't forgotten them, that they're not isolated. Along with that, I intend to do a Facebook Live post every other day or so where I'm talking to anybody that'll listen about how we don't need to be afraid. Everything's cool. We're going to be good, and we'll stay in touch this way.
Thanks, Jeff. And you can get these Zoom accounts. You can get a free Zoom account, and you can host up to 100 people on a free Zoom account for 40 minutes before they shut you off. If you go over 40 minutes, they automatically kick you off. You can have up to 3 people, though, on a free account for 10 hours. It doesn't matter. So you don't have to have a paid Zoom account. And you just go to zoom.us and get it. Yeah, we did our first our Zoom Bible study last night. We had 8 people on it. It lasted for 40 minutes. It went really well. Our Sunday school classes they're doing their Sunday school class via Zoom. So they're starting at 9 a.m. like the early bird class usually does, and the after worship class is starting at 11 like they usually do. Be creative, right? Invite people to a Zoom where you and another pastor just say, okay, we're going to talk about John 3:16 for the next 15 minutes, or where you do it by yourself. You know what I mean? Build community. That's what people are going to be missing. They're going to be going stir crazy. Build community. One last thing I'll say is as we start to get a little bit warmer weather, as long as it's still safe, right? I don't want you to do anything that's not safe, but as long as it's still safe, think about other creative ways to worship. If you have a large enough parking lot, have people drive in, roll their windows down, and set up your PA out in the parking lot. And be able to worship that way. You can buy microphones that are like $50 off Amazon that broadcast to an FM station like they were at the drive-in,
You can buy an entire converter for $89 on Amazon that you have a mic in and a music in, and it goes to any FM channel you want to. We do a drive-in service during the summer. We're going to open up early, and people love it. And especially if they've been cooped up for all this time, it's going to be really important. I was going to also say, Jason, don't just use this for the time to connect with your church. Reach out. We reached out to the principals of the high school and said, hey, what do you – it said the kids are fine. They're used to being on their phones and stuff, but the parents are really struggling with how they handle their teens. So another youth pastor in the area and I, we just got together. We're going to do a full Zoom call called First Aid for Families with parents talking about depression, anxiety, screen time, anger and discipline, just different things, just because parents need that. And for the first time, they can't just send their kid outside if they're home, because normally it's warm. They're stuffed up with each other, and they have anger issues. They have depression, anxiety. Think about all the seniors who might not get to walk this year. All the college students that might not get to walk. They already have their commencements canceled. So there's a lot of kids out there who are really frustrated, really depressed, really anxious, and we can be the church for once outside of our walls, even digitally.
So there's several people asking Justin if he'll send a link to that converter. So why don't you email him directly? Justin, give your email address real quick, and people can write it down. So while you're getting a piece of paper and a pencil so you can write it down, the other thing is that Sunday at 1 o'clock, I'm teaching another class via Zoom on how to use Zoom, right? So how to do a breakout session, how to share your screen, how to do those type of things. I'm doing that for people who teach lay servant ministry, but Eastern Standard Time, yes, Eastern Standard Time. I'm doing that for people that are doing lay servant ministry classes, but anyone can be on it. So it's jason.rice@inumc.org. Send me an email. I'll send you a link to it, and then you can do that. And Sunday afternoon you can get that information. And then if you want to teach a Bible study or whatever, I'll show you how to set up an account. I'll show you how to set up a free account. We'll talk about paid accounts, doing all types of things. John Randall uses this all the time in his coaching ministry. Zoom is such a amazing tool. And John, I mean, if you want to talk about that for a second, I mean, it's just amazing.
What I really love about it is the way that you really can build community when you're using it. And Zoom has a piece that's called a breakout room, and you can break out into groups of whatever size you want to. I usually try and break out in groups of 3 to 5 and let people go and share their own prayer requests. And then that becomes the prayer group between that meeting and the next meeting we have. And I've heard some really positive things about that. I also love the fact that when you're coaching with Zoom one-on-one, or especially with larger groups, it's just so easy to see everybody's face. When I started, a lot of people suggested I use the phone, and I like seeing people's faces. I am not an introvert, and I definitely like to see those and so that's just helpful to me, without a doubt. All those help. There you go, Jason.
Awesome. Thanks, John. Justin, you want to give your email address? No, breakout rooms do not cost extra. You can use breakout rooms on the free Zoom as well.
Russ, you accidentally messaged Russ directly. My email is jcason, CASON, at umchurch.org.
So I think you're putting it up on the chat as well. Yeah, so you can copy it then. That's what I had. Justin, do you have anything else?
I will say that the thing that I had, it looks like the people I already sent it to bought it out. It's sold out now. The thing that I just mentioned, but it looks like this will do the same thing. There's 9 left in stock. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen so you guys can kind of see that. So this is the transmitter. If you kind of look at the pictures here, real simple. We have a mic in and an audio in. Those are just jacks. Just boom, boom. You can choose which frequency you want to use. And yeah, so there's 37 of you guys on here, so the first 9 get one, I guess. That's what you want to do. But yeah.
The other thing is if you search by the name, like for instance that Behringer converter that I talked about, that will take a regular microphone and allow you to plug it into your laptop via USB. It is sold out on Amazon. It is sold out at Sweetwater, but B&H Photo has like 75 of them in stock, and it's the same price and it's free shipping. So just to, copy the whole name of it and post it into a Google search, and you'll find other places that may very well have them for sale as well. So any last questions for us? Justin, you want to close us in prayer?
Before you do, Justin, I do.
Yep.
Yep, it's me, Lori. I just want to say this. You may not feel like you know what you're doing, and that was a lot, but faith is risk. And I don't think we can be afraid to take too many risks for Christ right now. Sorry, dog. For Christ right now, because so many people right now are hungry to be connected. And I just want to encourage you to try. And if it doesn't go well the first time, try again. And if it doesn't go well the third time, call Justin or Jason and then try again. So that's all I want to say. Thanks.
Yeah, really, if you don't be afraid to call. Really, we will do whatever we can to help. We are definitely all in this together. And I'm going to be sitting in on Justin's OBS class because we're just starting to use it, and I have no idea how to do it anywhere near the way they do. You just kind of learn as you go. So
that class,
don't be
Justin?
afraid.
We're going to do that Tuesday at 7 p.m. And that'll be it's going to be shop talk. So if this is your first time using OBS, you might want to watch a couple YouTube videos. We're going to be going pretty quick speed. So if you could see, like, this is our sanctuary. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 cameras. And 2 of those are robotic. We show our videos on stream. We show it all. So we have a lot of different scenes and stuff. And actually, that's not going to be me that much leading it. We have a studio in our church. The guy that runs that's going to be leading that OBS talk. I use OBS for video game streaming. That's just who I am as a person. So yeah, I have that knowledge, but he's going to bring in more of the church side of things. OBS is the Open Broadcasting System or service. System, I think it's system. And it's a free streaming system. So for Facebook Live, you can stream from your computer, and that's how you can also show your videos, or sorry, your words for songs and such. So let's say you want to have your hymn up on the screen. You can switch between the live video feed and that TV thing, or you even do a picture-in-picture, kind of like you see at on ESPN or the other news shows. You have like right here will be the lyrics, and I'll be singing. You can see the lyrics with me and sing with me. There's a lot of stuff with that. So that'll be Tuesday at 7. And I suggest
if you send that link to John, he will get it emailed out to everyone, right, John?
Or send it to Lori. She's getting ready to put something together for Jan to send out, I believe.
Okay.
So do both. Do
I got
both.
Yeah.
Here's the really cool thing about OBS if you're going to dive deeper into this. So like I had 7 or 8 little kids, like 5 and under. I had their parents record videos of them saying welcome to worship that are like 10 seconds long. And then I put those into one video clip, and that's going to be our opening thing of Worship Sunday. You can embed videos into your live stream. So like I have then our youth reading. My Old Testament scripture is the 10 Commandments. So I have 10 of our youth reading each one of the commandments, and I put that into one video and put it in. I have a couple that's in Florida reading our New Testament scripture that so you can embed those in and bounce between live video or me being live and videos of people that you've recorded. So OBS is really cool, but there is a learning curve. If you're new to this, don't even think about that yet. Just get your cell phone and go live this Sunday, and you'll be amazed how it all works out.
Yeah. Awesome, Aaron. They're really cool. So yeah, I'm glad you got that. So yeah, that'll be Tuesday. Like I said, if you have any questions, my email's out there. You can shoot me a picture. Now, I preach this Sunday, so I prefer you not text me, at 9:30. Say, hey, Justin, quick question. I'm not going to respond, turns out. But yeah, if you have any setup stuff, let me know. And you should all test it. You could actually go live to just yourself. So you can make it to where only you can see your live stream. So yeah, that's an option too. So let's, Hal, great question.
Here, I'll pull it up and share it, Justin. So
now, so
give me a second. Let me get it up, and I'll show you that.
but so while he's doing that, when I live streamed earlier, I live streamed only to Jason. So he was the only person that could see that live stream. No one else knows I went on live. So you can do that type of thing to check stuff out. Yeah, Alan, 100%. And I think that's going to go up and up, especially because there are churches that are just not even attempting it. Just no, I'm not going to do it. So
Tell me that is not the cutest granddaughter you've ever seen in your life, though. I mean, come on now. Let's just be honest about it.
I'd say second.
Oh man. So you go to your live video, right? And it's not going to let me go live because it's not going to see my camera. But, oh, here, let me go back here. I'll show you. Let me go to my PowerPoint. That's what I need to share because I had that in there. Stop sharing. Let me share the PowerPoint because that had it in it. Okay. Okay, so see right here over on the right where it says public, friends, friends accept, specific friends, only me, right? So you could your husband or your wife or your friend, you could stream to them and then they could tell you what it looked like and how it sounded, or you can click on only me and you'll only see it on your Facebook page. So you could have, be streaming from your phone and have it on your laptop and have your laptop open and you can be seeing how it looks and how it sounds, right? So see where it says public, you pull that box down and whichever one of those you click, that's what it'll do. The thing to remember is if your live stream is not public, if your friends try to share it and try to do a watch party on Sunday, they will not be able to. It has to be public for that. But when you test,
switch it back.
Yeah.
Because you'll be really upset that you just did an awesome live stream and only you got to see it.
Yeah. So.
Cool beans.
Any other questions? Great questions, right?
Love it. Love it.
Third cutest. No, she is the cutest. She's adorable. So.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and end in prayer. Thank you all so much for coming. Please pray with me. Gracious God, it encourages my heart to see so many leaders of churches who are willing to do anything short of sin to bring forth the gospel, God. And for some, God, this whole live streaming thing a month ago might have been sin, but we're willing to adapt, we're willing to change, we're willing to see what it is, God, that you're calling us to do. So I pray that you would bless this, God, that you would allow us to build community in a new way, that while people are at home and they're scared, they're fearful if they're going to have food, or they're fearful if they're going to have a job, that we can be the people of hope this Sunday. That our live stream may reach someone who is in need of your grace, God, and that would deliver it there with abundance, that the Holy Spirit would come through Facebook, God, in a way that has not been there before. Father God, I sense a great awakening that's happening, God. People are seeking your face because it's all they know what to do. And I pray that we can be able to be your people, God, and ushering that in. I pray that you bless those who are going to do live stream this Sunday, God. May the frustration be low, God, and the impact be high, and may your kingdom be glorified. Amen.
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 Thank you all.
Have a great night, guys.
Thanks, you too.